Corrin does not suck.
Playing Corrin against DLC, against Fighters Pass 2 made me so sad that I quit the game.
Corrin has true 0 to 80s that are tournament viable that nobody does.
And then I came back because I found a character who can fight DLC Fighters Pass 2. Corrin simply cannot do it reliably, and I'm not going to try.
I just want to appreciate for a fact, before we get into this set, they are playing very much the same color scheme of the same character. It's just, do you want to be a little bit more tame or a little bit more, you know, spicy up here?
Oh yeah, the blue bikini Zero Suit fun. That was my first ever Smash 4 main.
It was for many people.
Yeah, this is a cool character. I can't move fast, so I stopped playing her. We're seeing 2 Zero Suits in grand finals. Sharp against Mars. It is Sharp in the bikini Zero Suit, Mars in the dark blue normal Zero Suit.
Yep, that is his favorite. That slight variation.
Ooh, that's not unfortunate.
Yeah,
just missing the ledge there.
He went for the flip jump cancel, momentum cancel there, where you flick C-stick back. You flick C-stick one direction while you're holding in your other stick in the other, and it cancels your momentum while still kicking outwards. He missed the momentum cancel, and that killed him.
And that's a rough way to start. Mars is so strong of a player in general, but when you give him a significant lead like that, he completely can just change the way he plays. He'll camp in your face. You know, he'll jump right around you. He won't actually run away from you, but he'll just move around just out of your range in a way that makes it very hard to get any significant punishes on him.
I love that. I was going to say, I love that up air. I love these up airs, actually, in general, plural, from Sharp. It's really been his X factor in these games so far. It's creating this circular zone of pressure where Mars kind of just can't hit him. And he's playing this very aggressive game we saw against Just Blue. He's transferred over here where Mars is trying to play a little bit more measured, maybe get a beat on these reads, but Sharp's just smothering him right now.
Yeah, Sharp is certainly starting to bring this back a little bit. He's playing this a lot better, but being down an early stock like that is such a big hill to overcome.
Yeah, well, Sharp is the one up a stock, so going up another one here. So going up 3 stocks to 1 in this situation, right, is huge for him. His pressure has been relentless. Mars has not been able to get anything going, and the patience, the air dodge, you expect to see Mars getting the reads and finally getting something started with it, but he has to get 2 defensive reads to even get a hit, and now he's going to get punished for it. He's getting forced to swing for the fences to even take a stock.
Wow, this is crazy. And Sharp doing such a good job. This is, you know, has always been Mars's character.
Are we sure they didn't, like, switch outfits and, like, are, like, you know, are we sure that this isn't, like, a body swap, like, situation?
I'm only sure because now that I actually look at it, it's definitely the tag Sharp was using last set on the bikini one, who does have the lead. This is very significant at this point, going all out for the flip jump and not getting down aired, importantly.
Saving the jump and Mars being down a stock, right? Not that down air, unfortunately, not on the table for him.
Yeah, just go for the down air through ledge, which is only really going to hit in a very specific situation.
And Mars will go, right, in those last stock situations where it's, if he dies first, he loses the set, he'll still go for down air. And we see it all the time. Now, finding the near one into the crouch, Mars, even down, is feeling himself. This man does not know anything other than confidence, and I respect it.
That's just how he plays. It's always fun to watch. This could be it. I like the side B. Tech chase in a safer way than going for like a dash up B or a dash down smash or up smash.
And the dash grab, that is the Mars classic, is that he out of jump, he either nairs or doesn't, and then out of the jump, unfortunately coming up short there, but out of Mars he will jump. And he will either nair you, or fast fall. And regardless of what he does, afterwards, he will either run up out smash, jab, down angled F tilt, or dash grab. Or he will jump back, wave bounce, and plasma whip only at ledge. And that is what he does. That is his entire flowchart for this character's neutral.
He's got so many different options to play with right there. And I feel like one of the things to point out, of course, is that F tilt, that down angled F tilt. He uses that move way more than other ZSS players, and it's a pretty good move, and ZSS is a character who has such good aerials and has really good short hop aerials, so she doesn't really care much about having a ground game, but Zero Suit is not known for her ground game, and Mars is really one of the few Zero Suits that makes use of ZSS's ground game, which is actually not that weak.
I was going to say, it's very good as long as you condition them to not really be able to shield, which Mars mixing in those dash grabs does so well, and utilizing the movement with this character forces them to guess, okay, are you going to hit me on the ground, or are you going to hit me on the air, whereas otherwise they kind of just can stay grounded, only have to worry about Zero taking 5-10%. Right now, though, if Sharp picking up right where he left off, got slapped around a little bit early, but now is going blow for blow, swinging back and forth, and while it's been Mars getting the raw hits, it's been Sharp getting the strings.
And I do like to see that crouch from Mars. We're seeing both of them use the crouch quite a bit. Crouching so effective in this matchup. We were talking about it earlier with the ZSS Joker matchup, how Zero Suit often struggles with shorter characters in neutral. And Zero Suit can kind of do that to herself in a way, where you see the other Zero Suit jump, and you can crouch under a lot of her potential options, and really make it more precise and more difficult for her to pick the right option.
And you were talking earlier about how Mars doesn't use that F tilt a lot less. We saw down angle, and they're just a normal angle one, trying to catch Sharp slipping even a little bit. Doesn't, but it's the age-old Mars run up and up smash. He did a summit sketch, taught a class, and now showing you that, hey, Sharp, you might be my student, but as the master, I still got a thing or two I can teach you. Finding the up air, back air, calling it the flip kick. Mars is cooking all of a sudden.
Mars really showing up here in this game too. We'll finally lose the stock to that Plasma Whip, but a 70% lead, and this is the kind of matchup where a percent lead really makes a big difference. You know, Zero Suit is fully capable of getting early stocks, but it's really hard for her to do it against herself when there's so much movement available.
And even then, like, most of those are true conditioning on DI in. Both these players know that. They're just going to DI out and then have flip kick. And it's like, what do you do? You flip kick back, it covers the same arc, it doesn't cover itself.
You can't put them in these, you know, these unreactable 50-50s where they have to like air dodge early or late, because they're also a Zero Suit. They're just gonna flip jump out. And
it's you can't fast fall air dodge out of the situation either, because, well, you don't have one. And so it's very weird in that you have these great movement tools but limited defensive options, and you're both limited in the same ways. And this time it's gonna be Mars locking it down. The shimmy walk and the turbo T-Pat, he's moving. He was showing you, the thing I love about Mars is he never taunts on you in the traditional way, right? It's not like Light, where Light, when feeling himself, will press the taunt button a bunch, or come on, fire up the Firefox to keep himself going. Mars either shows you the shimmy walk or the turbo T-back or something new and all together. I feel like this man needs like a Guinness World Record for the most movement tech that is absolutely useless.
Absolutely, That is really Mars's environment. He loves to move around. He moves around so quickly and so precisely, and it lets him play around with it a little more. And, you know, sometimes it's for style, sometimes it's really because it's really confusing to fight, and it's really hard to pin down a character who moves that fast with a player who thinks and moves that quickly.
And I mean, we've seen this, right? They're basically fighting a mirror image of themselves. Mars a little bit more kind of reactionary and read-based. Sharp definitely a little bit more aggressive. But both of them still very capable of flipping between those styles of paralyzer, flip kick, or boost kick, gonna do it. And Winters, Mars might have lost game one, but since then feels like he's just jacked into the Matrix.
Yeah, he's woken up. He does not want to lose the mirror, and he does not want to lose, you know, to anyone here, but he's got such a history playing with Sharp.
I was gonna say, if he loses, even if he picks the reset, if he loses the mirror in set one, Sharp I think gonna hear about it. We talked about last one. He's not gonna hear about it forever. He's gonna hear about it for the end of a week. Mars would hear about it forever.
Getting the flip jump again to just get out of the situation.
And the jab off the, utilizing that neutral air -6, right? Still very safe. And ZS's boost kick, while the same frame, doesn't actually have the range to contest it, right? So ZS is a character that's really weird in that if you space properly, she doesn't actually have an out of shield option to punish her own safety tools on herself.
But she has really fast out of shield options if you're close to her. You know, the up B, the up smash also works in certain situations as well. But none of those have big horizontal range, and she does have the ability to space pretty far away with her aerials as well.
The wave bounce there on the paralyzer there, just finding some tricky movement. Mars trying to pull out the tricks and traps. He's definitely shown a lot more layers than Sharp has, right? Even though he's ahead here, it feels like Mars is the one working a lot harder to get things done, and Sharp's game plan is still a lot simpler. Whether that's because Sharp was trying to save that for the next step, the next mile here after counter pick advantage, and for the fact that he has a second set to win, or because he doesn't have it, who knows? But
yeah, and at a certain point, it doesn't make a huge difference. I mean, if you can win with the simpler game plan, you should absolutely go for it.
Exactly.
And that's, you know, you want to take out needless complications sometimes, but at the same time, Mars has been playing this character for so long. He loves to add in those potentially unimportant things because it does make it different to play against. You know, he's got a unique style. You really have to be ready for everything he does, even if not all of it is useful.
A lot of people talk about substance over style, right? But Mars has always been, his motto has always been, why choose? Why choose? I'm going to be the flashiest player you've ever seen, and it's going to be optimal because it'll kill you at 50. I don't care. And now, like, immediately, takes the stock, immediately finds a whole bunch of pressure into 60% up there, up special. That might do it. No, the DI is on point, but Sharp has his back against the wall, and Mars still has a whole extra stock to play with here.
Wow, an 81% conversion. Really just one air dodge read. Everything else was like nearly guaranteed or a frame trap.
Yeah, it's a frame trap, but also a read, right? Like,
yeah,
this is all just Mars unleashing all of the reads he stored, all that conditioning into a bunch of 1-2 hit strings.
It's a good side B.
Yeah, and that's actually the third time that we've seen Mars do the wall jump into a paralyzer attempt or a B reverse with the plasma whip, and Sharp just finally called it out.
Oh, good reaction to that as well. Whiffs one way, goes back the other way with the grab. 131%, that's a significant difference. Of course, Zero Suit, you know, has the potential to take those early stocks, but it's so hard for her to edgeguard herself. Sharp most likely going to have to just win neutral a bunch to get it back.
I like the back air attempt, looking for the flip kick, didn't find it to Mark. Sharp trying to find a way to just get Mars in an awkward situation in the corner. That was his chance, but having the FL back towards stage, not where you want to put this insanely agile character, and the shield poke. That looked like
that was going to be game 3 going to Mars.
I know, but
and tournament point for Mars.
But did you see? Watch how this last button kills. Watch at the very end in the magnifying glass here. It doesn't look. No, you were in the last frame of hitstun. You saw her start to uncurl and and be actable, but really died at the literal perfect. I hit the perfect percent.
That was good DI too. He went almost right to the corner. Certainly.
And that was like literally. I think if you were like 0.1 or not even 1, 0.1 or 0.2% lower, Sharp would have survived that, which is crazy.
Very possible.
It's crazy. That being said.
Running it right back in the mirror, and you know, I get it. Sharp, you know, got a game in the mirror. He's been doing pretty well. That game 2 obviously went strongly in Mars' favor, but that last game was pretty solid.
You just saw Mars with a melee dash dance. He is feeling himself right now. When his movement gets simple, that's when you should be scared, because that means he doesn't feel like he has to be tricky. It just means he knows. Right, and we're seeing the crouch, the jab. He is just swinging now, playing so fast because he is locked in. Sharp can't get anything going because Mars has made read after read, and they've all been right. And these jabs, these buttons he's throwing that aren't out are to condition for later. They're setting up those future reads. So as Mars is unleashing the reads he stored from early on the set, he's still setting up, saving for the future by putting part of that paycheck aside, and that's what matters here.
Here we see a lot of really tense, you know, movement-based situations. There's not a lot going on in a lot of these situations. All of a sudden, Mars, he just has the potential to take that one opening and make it count so much, and Sharp knows that and is trying not to give it up.
And Sharp finding the reversal there for at least a minute with those up airs off of great coverage from Mars. The Phantom Pursuit going to allow him to get back, but the rare ZSS up tilt coming out to just reset the situation. This is Sharp's opportunity to maybe still take the first stock. Mars open up like a firecracker, but similarly 2-1 has since fizzled out a little bit. Sharp has been going slow but steady and has found an opening, but getting caught out, as you mentioned, and that's going to be the first stock.
Yeah, catching the DI in there. That Zero Suit up tilt, it's a really good move. The legs are invincible frame 3, but like, especially in the mirror, it's not that useful because Zero Suit, by the time she's at that angle, she's already hitting you.
And seeing Mars crawl forward and back just never gets old. It's something about the way ZSS shimmies and just how tricky it really is, right? ZSS is one of those weird characters that, because of how crawling changes her traction and her speed, it's off-putting.
Yeah,
it really is. That like, okay, what's she gonna do next?
Yeah. This is a very close game, almost exactly tied here on the second stock.
Now looking for
and that's the situation where a neutral tech there might have been a kill, or at least, you know, a big punish, big damage.
But that's one of the issues, right? Is that ZSS being able to get down so low against herself,
so
kind of limit your options and say, okay, well, there's only one tool that this can catch. Mars wisely saying, hey, boost kick's not going to kill here, so I'm not even going to look for it, especially being up high. That's prime scenario for you to fall out of the move. And Mars has gotten really good at avoiding the situations where he knows his buttons might not work, right? He is willing to play that one more interaction.
At the end of the day, it's not actually that inconsistent. It's a lot about really precise positioning, and it's so precise that to a lot of people it just seems like it's all the same.
And I mean, it can be inconsistent, right? You can SDI out of those moves multiple.
There's a 0 SDI multiplier on some of those.
I know, but I'm saying you can still get out of it fairly consistently if you are positioned right. And when in the air, Mars is willing to guarantee that those connect slightly later because he's so confident in himself, he's willing to bet on himself those extra interactions.
Yeah, and he's going to bring us to last stock here. This is one stock away from the tournament. for Mars. This is a big moment. Sharp needing to stay alive.
Oh, and the shimmy back too, right? The little bit of some spice at the end of the day. And if you've noticed, right, Mars has gone away from the grab here in this last game, throwing it out
Right
as a
on
mix-up
cue.
when it matters most.
And no punish.
It's because those F tilts on shield are to try and get the pick and
we
the
got him.
bro.
What a finish.
He
pulled out of nowhere the flip jump spike.
The Mars classics literally were saved for Sharp for the last game of the set, for the last stock of the set, both times, right?
The downer spike in winners, the flip kick spike in grands. Wow.
The fake out go off for the edge guard reset. Just beautiful, beautiful stuff, Winters. And unfortunately, that's going to be it.
Yeah, that is
for
our
meter
tournament
management.
today. Mars is your champion for meter management here today. Great runs from Sharp and Just Blue getting second and third. Mars, to no one's surprise, really coming out on top. Great to see him again at an event. You know, we've seen him at a lot of tournaments recently.
It was
and good to know he's still got it.
Yeah, it was a big, a big melting pot of
Absolutely.
upsets
Yeah.
and hype and craziness, all the way
So
back
much
to
going
round
on.
2, right, where Butterdog, the